Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back. Alright, today I am doing the iconic Aussie meat pies. Mate, these are good. Alright, first of all, you need 1.5 big brown onions, chopped really small. If you only got little onions, just picture them as one big one and cut that many up, alright? Then we need 750 grams of beef mince. Now, when I get my beef mince, what I'll do is I'll break it up into really small bits as I'm putting it in the bowl. That way when we go to cook it after, you don't have to chop the crap out of it to get it all small. You only got to chop it a little bit. So there, if you want to do that, otherwise just pack it in there. 750 grams. Alright, I'll put the recipe below anyway, as always. Okay, now I'm using real stock and I'm using chicken stock. Now, if you're somewhere else that don't have stock, you can use broth. And if you can't get stock or broth, use water, alright? It might not be that deep taste that you'll get, but you still have an enjoyable pie. Now, what was I going to say about that? Now, my original recipe that I got many years ago, the stock was beef stock. Now, even if you get a salt-reduced beef stock, they are really salty. So if you want to give it a go, definitely get the salt-reduced one. But I prefer to use chicken stock all day long. Alright, then we're going to need corn flour. We're going to need tomato sauce. Oh no, it's crazy, no? We're going to need barbecue sauce. So anywhere in the world you are, just use your tomato and barbecue sauces. Wistirshire sauce. And of course, Vegemite. Now, if you can't get Vegemite anywhere, it won't kill it. You can still have them and they'll still be yummy. But if you can get Vegemite or get it sent over, definitely use it. Alright, let's cook. Oh yeah, alright, let's cook some filling. Okay, frying pan, or you can use a big saucepan, like a pot. Alright, a little bit, I love olive oil. I can't say enough about it, it's so good for you. But if you haven't got it, use whatever oil you got. A little bit in your pan. First thing we want to do is put our onions in. And we just want to cook these for 1 or 2 minutes until they can start going see-through. Now we want to add our mince. And we want to cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes just to brown it all. Alright. Now that we've browned our mince, we want 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour and sprinkle it over. Give it a quick mix in. Now we want to add our stock. Now if you're using a pot, you're going to have your volume is going to be deeper and you're not going to have so much surface area. So for a pot, 1 1/4 cups of stock. But because I'm using an electric fry pan that's a bigger surface, I'm going to use 1 1/2. Alright, it doesn't matter because you reduce it all down anyway. So 1 1/4 for a pot, 1 1/2 for a pan. We want to put 1 cup of tomato sauce in next. Now 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce. 1 1/2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. And we want 1 1/2 teaspoons of Vegemite. Mix it all in really well. Once you've got it mixed in really well, you want to turn it down to a really light simmer. Alright, and you'll just keep simmering. It usually takes between 8 and 10 minutes. So you just leave it on a simmer and stir it every couple of minutes and just keep doing that until it's a nice thick gravy like you'd get in your pie. Alright, so the best way to get a really good pie filling is that they took a little bit longer too, by the way, so just work with it until you get it there. So the best way I know to test it is, because you don't want a really runny pie, but you don't want a really dry pie either, is just get your thing and stick it through. Now see how there's a hole there and it's slowly closing in? I'll just see if you can see that. Yeah. Alright, that's perfect. That's how you want it. Oh. Alright, so you turn your pan off and you put a lid over it and we let it sit there to cool down while we get our pastry ready. Pastry time. Okay, so we need all up 5 sheets of pastry. You need 3 sheets for the bottom and 2 sheets for the top. Now most people will use short crust pastry for the bottom and puff pastry for the top. But I'm not really keen on the short crust, so I use puff pastry for everything. So if you want your short crust, get 3 sheets out and 2 of puff pastry for the top. Otherwise 5 sheets of puff. While they're thawing out, I'm going to make myself a cuppa and sit down for 5 minutes, and then we're going to get stuck into it. Now I use a 12-hole, they call them muffin tins, I'd call it cupcake size, but they're called muffin tins. So we use a 12-hole tin, alright, we're going to make 12 of them hopefully. So, put that aside from that. Alright, we get our first thawed out sheet of puff. Now what I'll do, is I want to do them a bit easier than I did the chicken ones, is fold it in half, open it up, cut down the line. Make sure you're in the picture here. Okay, turn it around, fold it in half, fold it, and cut down that line. Alright, now once I've done that, what I'll do is just cut the corners off, the 4 corners, just to make it a little bit easier, you don't have to. Alright, I'll just show you on one of them. Make sure it's in video. That one. Alright, peel it off. Put it in. Just sort of lift it all up and let it fall in first. Alright, then spread it out. Make sure you pat it all into the bottom. So we've got the right, do it loose so you can push it down without tearing it up. Okay, then once we've got it in there, see, instead of bending all them down and doing that yet, this time I'm going to leave them all up a little bit. So once we've filled them, we can do one at a time and they're not in the way of each other. Alright, and do them all like that. Before I go any further, I forgot to say to you, while we're doing this, preheat our ovens now, alright, 220 degrees Celsius. And you want to get something, I'm using a glass, but you want to get something that is either the same or a little bit bigger, because if it's the same you can still pull it out. This is the closest I could get. Or something a little bit bigger that we want to do to cut our tops. So just put your glass over until you can find one that fits, alright? Now that they're done, onto the lids. Make sure you can see. Alright, so I'll just get I'll put them as close as I can to each other. I hope I can try it that way first. If not, if they don't come out properly when you do it that way, just a little trim around with your knife. But if you can try and do it that way, it's a lot quicker. Okay? And like I said, do them as close as you can to each other. What I like doing is I'll just do one pie at a time. I'll just show you on one anyway. That way it breaks up the monotony of doing everything all at once. Okay. Move them off. Get a pie tray here. Now I'll put it here so you can see this one. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so first thing we do is I'm going to get my 1/4 cup measurement out. I don't know if I should use 1/4 or 3, I reckon 1/4 cup. So I'm just going to scoop a 1/4 cup. So I'll know in a minute. Right, levels 1/4 cup into there. Alright, well I'm just going to do that with all of them first, just to make sure that that was what I used to use. Alright, the 1/4 cup measurement worked great for getting them all even, and then I've got one here left I can eat. Then I did like a heaped tablespoon and put it on top on each one. Yum! Alright, lids on. I knew I was going to eat that. Alright, peel off the first lid. Oh, water. Alright, get yourself a little bit of water. No, actually. Alright, water around the edge. Alright, place your lid on. Because I made mine a little bit smaller, I'm just going to spread it out a bit to make sure it covers it. Alright, tap it down with your fingers. Now with your knife we're going to clean it up. cut the edges off. Don't have to be too literal with it, just try to play it off a little bit. Make sure it's still overlapping. Bring it over there. Okay. Get this bit off. Okay. Now we've done that. With a fork, we just press them together. Now once we press them together, we get our fork and we stick it in and just move it a little bit to make the holes. Stick it in and move it a little bit. That way it can breathe in there and puff up without going absolutely everywhere. And continue till we've done the lot. Alright, once that's done, a little bit of milk. Can you see from there? Alright, a little bit of milk over the top of all of them. And then in the oven they go. Now, I don't exactly know how long because I've never timed before, I just know when they're ready. So I will time them for you and I will tell you in a minute exactly how long they took. Check these little babies out. And I had hardly any spillage, it's awesome. Alright, they took 18 minutes. So I'm going to leave them in here for 5 before I pull them out. When you go to pull them out, see any of them that are joined anywhere, just cut that first. Alright, then you should be able to, it's too hot to hold. I'll hold it up on an angle like that. So as you go to grab them, they kind of fall out. That's how you want to do it. So yeah, give them a good 5 minutes sitting there first. Oh, it smells so good. Check it out, eh? We just made them. Yummy. Aussie meat pie. A little bit of sauce. We're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.